What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. I'm back here in the building, and I got my family here. I think there you go. I got my family here, Mr. Ryan Yates, uh, new LSU signing, but I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about. We've been doing this thing called Generation Next, and what we're doing is trying to get those young high schoolers even more exposure. Even though he's gonna tell you what has just happened with him recently. Any youth that have been younger, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, we want to continue to open those doors, and so we want to provide these type of interviews to kind of get to know about them as a player, the person, so they can continue to let their light shine brightly when they're on the college field or off the field. You know what I'm saying? So we want to continue to open those doors. So without further ado, I got Mr. Ryan Yates. Please let them know who you are officially, your height, weight, the school you play for, and what recently just happened for you in this last week.
All right, so what's up, y'all? I'm Ryan Yates. If y'all don't know me, I go Denton Guyer. I'm number 21. Last season, I played cornerback, but this season, I'll be playing safety. I'm currently committed to LSU. I'm 6'1", 190, trying to get to 200 by the end of the summer. And that's pretty much it for now.
Okay. Now, we actually had an interview prior. It was probably about 9, 10 months ago, and it was before your season started. You had a lot of goals, team goals, personal goals. Kind of tell me about your season. It ended on a little of a bad note, but man, you guys balled out the whole season, man. Kind of tell me about your season and your team goals. That did you meet them? Obviously, at the end, we know. And then your individual goals that you probably have for your own self. Do you feel like you met those as well this past season?
So I say, of course, we ended shortly on our main goal was, of course, to win state. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I'm just glad that we made it to that moment in the first place. But, I say my minor goals, as in my minor team goals, I say like the leadership. It was definitely one thing that I was questioning at the beginning of the year, which was definitely shown by our leaders and our seniors last year. They did a great job at that role. Us being prepared, to go into games, just watching film and stuff like that. I definitely say we were prepared more than most teams going in, which was another question that I had. But just, our strong program, showed that we were ready and we were going to be capable to beat those teams just by watching their film, going into practice, evaluating what they do, showing us what they do, and then we adjust to them. So mostly my mental goals, I'd say, and our physical goals, of course, all us gaining weight and us being, conditioned our first game and, keeping as least minor injuries on the field, stuff like that, just injury, being healthy and stuff like that. I definitely say a lot of those goals were met. And then, of course, the main goal of going to state we met, but winning state was something that we came up short on. And then personal goals, I say I met some, but I still need to meet. I have some that I need to work on, as in just getting simple interceptions. I think I need way more of those. Me having only 2 this year. I mean, 1 this year. That was not enough for me personally. I think I should be having at least 1 or 2 every other game. So I should have ended the season probably 5 or 6, but unfortunately I didn't meet that goal. But I also made up with that by having 16, maybe 17 PBUs this season. So that's almost about 1 a game. And then not including just me having busted coverages and playing my man technique and stuff like that. So I definitely say my technique definitely improved this year, at corner. And this year, luckily, I'll be able to show at safety that I can also play. My technique will be there and I can read the field and stuff like that. So I'm really excited for that. But I really just think my physical goals I met, hitting my weight of 195 I hit this summer. My speed goals, of course, me from coming off tearing my meniscus, my speed came back. This track me during the summer. Well, not the summer, the spring. I had ran a 21.6, so that was pretty good. So my speed is back. I say all my physical abilities I met. It's just that one goal is just getting more picks, but that's it.
Okay, man. Now you sold me something new because it's funny because I was looking in the publication when they said you had signed. Obviously, I knew prior, but I wanted to read all the little articles, see what they said about you. But it was kept on saying Ryan Yates safety is committed, and I heard safety again. I'm like, okay, hold up. I know him as cornerback. I keep
Right.
on hearing safety now. So talk about that switching from the cornerback to safety. And I will kind of agree with you. You know, when you are playing corner, you can get interceptions. But when you're playing
Mhm.
the safety, especially the free safety, you're be able to see the field. Everything is right in front of you. That's going to allow you to be more of a playmaker, make plays on the ball. I actually
Right.
have a kid right now. His name is Julius Wood. He plays for East Carolina. He's
Mhm.
around your height. He's 6'2". He's about 195 pounds, getting about 200, what you were talking about. And he was a
Mhm.
playmaker when we coached him. He was playing offense and receiver, and we were like, bro, you need to go play defense, but you don't need to play corner. You need to
Right.
play safety because you're a playmaker. You can do things with the ball. So you be able to be in front of it and see it come in front of you and be able to pluck it out the air. That's going to be a huge asset. So just talk to us and the fans out there. You know, what about the transition? Was it your choice to go from corner to safety? And are you excited really to move into that new position heading forward into your senior season?
Right. So at first, I kind of had a couple of questions about me going to corner to safety, but talking to Coach Kerry Cooks, the guy who recruited me, which is the safeties coach, talking to the defensive staff, I thought it would be a great, opportunity and a better, chance to one get me on the field sooner, but also, that's where people see me projected. So that's where I thought it would just be best for me to be at. And then, for my team this year, we have moved our safety Brendan Bradshaw. We needed a linebacker, so we kind of have him playing linebacker, outside linebacker, kind of the star position like a nickel. So we moved him down, and that's what opened me to go play safety. And then we have my backup from last year, Anthony Benford. He's going to be playing corner from my spot, which he's going to do his thing. So um, that I don't think will be a problem. And then the transition as well, because of my trainer Flight, he's always had me working, safety as well and corner. So I think, the transition to like technique wise and all that stuff, I'll be okay with that. It's just this spring ball. What I'm really looking for, like my main goal is just, being able to read the field, give the call, of course, to my corner and my linebacker, because, we're going to have to be working together for us to, make successful plays, but really just getting the calls to my teammates, being able to see the field and then make the plays on the ball. And of course, if I have to come down, because they might have me play strong some games while they have pay, the 4-star, going to be 5-star, safety, probably have him more playing free because he's better at, coming down, being a receiver, playing like having elite ball skills, I say, and making plays on the ball. So if I need to come down, be the last line to hit somebody, that's what they'll probably have me do. And I also want to be prepared for it. So really just, mentally being able to scan the field, come down if it's a run, if it's a pass, get back, make plays on the ball. And that's really the main things that I think I need to work on. But the transition, I don't think will be a problem at all.
Well, I'll tell you what, number one, I'm excited. Just listening to yourself, it sounds like you're a very intelligent football player. A lot of players play on instincts. I see that you have the instincts because I definitely watched your tape.
Mhm.
But to listen to the mental side, how you like to prepare for the game, that's really going to take you to the next level where you want to do. And especially when you were talking about getting on the field early. Film study is huge. Understanding concepts, because a lot of people have talent, but if they don't know what they're doing when they get on the field, making the calls, as you said, playing hand in hand with your corner and your linebacker, they're going to sit the bench, even if they have more talent. But you can make those calls and you can really be smart on the field. That's going to get you on there quicker, along with the ability. So
Right.
that's very exciting now to hear about that, because I mean LSU done had a few couple pretty good safeties back there, and Jamal Adams and the Honey Badger. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
had some guys back there. So how does that kind of feel, signing with LSU, knowing it's been known as DBU, Patrick Peterson? They just had Stingley just come out, drafted third overall.
Right.
And then we know about Jamal Adams and the Honey Badger, and they've had a plethora of people coming out of LSU. Period. But defensive in the secondary, how does that make you feel knowing that you signed with this? And does it really a challenge for you, knowing saying that, hey, I want to kind of be like this or better? I kind of really want to make my own mark out here.
Right. So going up there, I definitely feel like it was the best choice for me to make, not only for me, for myself, but, for what I want to be, if I want to go, to the league when I get up there. And of course, that's laid down the road. But, I think that LSU will be the best place for me to go if I want to take it to that next level. And, with having, those great guys come through there, it's just like you have, a projection of like what you need to do and who you need to play like to get to that next level. So of course,
Mm-hmm.
going up there, my goal is to play, like them or better than them. So when I go, and I say, hey, what do you think about me declaring for the draft later down the road? They'll be like, I see you like, let's say Jamal Adams or Derek Stingley. You're like one of those great guys. So we think it's best for you to go and just head on to the next level. So because just the name DBU, of course, that already had sold me right then and there. But with those great players, and it's being, they call it NFLSU, that just all, it just checked all the boxes.
Hey, I love hearing that. I love hearing that. Now, um, you had a whole bunch of schools that were after you, man. You seen me, I was tweeting the heck out of, every daggone school that was recruiting you. I was tweeting like, yeah, buddy, there go another one. Yep, that's my family. You see, we don't play around. I ain't hating, ain't nothing wrong with getting small schools, but we getting big schools over here. I'm just
Right.
saying, you know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
that process, you were there, your schools down to LSU, Michigan State, and what was the other team?
It was Tech and then Cal Berkeley.
Okay, now that was a surprise. What made you kind of put? Because a lot of people are not going to think about Cal Berkeley. How did they
Right.
come on the scene, and then how were they close? They were they were in your top guys. What was Cal Berkeley kind of what did they have to kind of make you be like, I kind of like these guys?
So, talking to Coach Brown and then Trey as well, both the defensive staff, just the way they operate things up there, it's amazing, and it's really advanced for the college level. They train like how I say, like how LSU does. It's a pro style, NFL type training, type defense, type secondary in general.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking to those guys, of course, them talking to my family, which some schools, most schools did, but not on like a personal note where they were just like, hey, can I talk? Like, it's just me and your parents, like, go away, like, type stuff. And that's one thing, that really separated, most schools from our other schools, because um, when it comes to, like I said, when I first started recruiting, I wanted a foundation and my parents to have the okay to wherever I go. And right off bat, as soon as they offered me, they came up to my school like that week, the week they offered me, and they saw me lift in the morning. And then they got on the phone with my parents before we left to go. We went somewhere. We went to, had a 7-on-7 tournament, and it was in about January, I think. It was a 7-on-7 tournament, and just talking to those guys, I was like talking to them, and then of course them talking to my parents. My parents were giving the okay, like, yeah, this is a good school. Like, if we want to send you off somewhere far, we're okay with you going to Cal Berkeley. So that's really what gave them that top 4 spot. Just the way that they did a great job at recruiting. And they still recruit me now. Texting me on the phone, saying how am I doing. Showing the people that they sent to the league. Just watching. Of course, there's a post on Twitter of Coach Brown, of him practicing and showing you how he works with the DBs, and it's pretty interesting. So that's
Yeah,
really
they
what
ain't
gave me
gonna
that
never
first
let
spot.
go. I mean, them
Right.
teams ain't never gonna stop. They still send them last little texts. Hey, you sure? You sure? You
Yeah.
sure? You sure about that over there? We pretty good over here too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But hey, you can't hate on that. You gotta love it, man. That's gotta show how much they really kind of love what they want to do with you, and they want to kind of better your own self. So shout out to number one family. Family has really done a great job over there raising you up. So shout out to mom, dudes, pops, all that good stuff. They've done a hell of a job with you, man. Just we got to meet up last year, just being around you, listen to you just talk. It's amazing. Like I said, I've had 3 other young gentlemen prior, and y'all have all kind of just blown me away by just the things that you talk about, how you speak, how you're on top of your grades and off the field. It's just
Right.
really exciting to hear. So let's talk a little bit about that on the as well. How are the academics, and how do you feel about the academic program at LSU as well?
So at the academic program, that's also, of course, when I say filling the checks, they definitely put a big green light, not only on me, but, my stepmom is a teacher. So when it came to the education line, she was on that, on top of that. And when I needed, if I had any questions, she would be the person I would go to, and she would talk to those people. So, hearing feedback from her about, how their education program is really good. And of course, going up there on unofficials with her, them, the first thing that they talk about when they go to LSU, it's not about football. It's about their education and their, what's called their tutors, and like their head tutors and all those guys, that take care of you, off the field and on like more the book side of the end. Just them talking about like, if you need help, all you have to do is say something, because closed mouths don't get fed.
Right.
Which is the quote that my parents say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That just really felt like I could see them as not only as, like a parent, because of course they're not going to just hold my hand, but I know that if I go up there and I need help, it'll be access to me with ease, just by saying, hey, I need help in this, I'm struggling this. And they'll be like, okay, boom. Well, let's say it's like right now I'm in algebra 2, right? Let's just say it was algebra 2, which, we're not going to do in college. Let's say I'm not doing too good on 12.3. Okay, well, we have a tutor for 12.3. Then we also have a tutor for 12.4, and then 12.4, like 12.5 if you need it. So,
Right.
just talking to those guys, and then hearing them like talk about how their education is important and how we're called graduating champions, that really just stood out.
Hey, that's really good. Number one, it's honestly, it's been great to see you. You look like a natural in that jersey, that uniform, bro. That visor. I mean, you look the part. You know what I'm saying? You look the part. I can't even. I can't really explain how we're excited all over. All families excited to see you, but we're all just really rooting for you. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely want to be able to get to a game. Now, I ain't squeezing you. I ain't
Don't worry, I
squeezing you.
got you.
You feel me? I ain't squeezing.
Yeah,
But
just let me know.
just to watch you on TV, I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna be exciting knowing that you're out there playing against the big boys, playing against the big dogs, and
Right.
that's got to be an exciting feeling, especially playing in that atmosphere and in that stadium. That crowd noise is going to be crazy. So if you don't get any kind of chills playing in that kind of atmosphere, you got to be crazy because it's going.
Right.
Every game is like a championship game for real out there. Now, I want to ask you about the coaching staff before we kind of end this. We're going to talk a little bit about going into this last year. Your team goals, your personal goals. But I'm not for sure. But is this a new staff with LSU? And if it is, how does that affect you? Because I know for a fact when schools, kids are committed, and then the coach goes and hey, I might do this, I might transfer, I might not be solid. How was that kind of going? Did that sway anything, or are you kind of feeling any kind of way about that, or how are you feeling with that situation?
No, so it didn't really sway me at all. Brian Kelly, the head coach that's now at LSU, he was at Notre Dame. So when I was getting recruited there, it was actually Coach Kerry Cooks that was recruiting me there as well, and Brian Kelly, the head coach. And talking to those guys, it just like I always felt safe, talking to those guys. Like I could say anything to those guys. And now, them bringing, a little bit of their staff and then mixing with the old staff that LSU already had there prior to, I think it was the best decision for not only Brian Kelly and that half that Notre Dame staff, but also for that LSU staff. Even though, Coach O was a great coach, that move to Brian Kelly to LSU, I think it was definitely a smart move. And I don't think, them like transferring and then moving will happen no time soon. So I'm not really worried about all that. Like, oh, what if he like leaves soon, or he just doesn't see like they're gonna be like, what if they don't do too good this year or last next year, the next couple of years? Like, what do you think that's gonna happen? I think this year we're gonna prove a lot to schools that LSU is one of those top SEC schools, and they'll probably be playing an SEC championship this year. But some people may say that's a stretch, but I believe it. Just talking to being there personally, seeing those guys, how they work, and looking at the coaches and how they operate, and how being a pro style offense and a pro style defense, and like the top upper end of the SEC, I really think they'll be making big moves, and that's why I'm definitely comfortable with those guys, and I don't think they'll be going nowhere no time soon.
Well, hey, and like I said, I'm excited to see that. And that kind of makes sense how you just said that with Brian Kelly, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember I think I made a tweet where I said, "You look good in Notre Dame too." I like the
Right.
LSU, but I was like, "Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, in the Notre Dame, you could be a dog over there." So to see that transaction, it just makes sense how it would be a seamless switch over and go right into it. So, going into your last year, you fell short last year. I know you got some guys still coming back. Y'all had some dogs on your team, bro. Like your
Right.
your your squad was nice. Like y'all had college players, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all don't just have there's teams that have a college player here and there, but y'all had college players there. You
Right.
feel me? We
I
have
feel
a
you.
school out here called Pickerington Central. Actually, that's where Taco Charlton came out.
Hmm.
And they put a lot of people out there in Division One schools, and it's a hotbed now. They've actually had probably I think about 3 or 4 pros that have come out of there just recently. So it's now becoming like a hotbed. So like if you're a kid that plays youth football and you're in that area, that's where they're going to go to school because
Right.
that's where the best opportunity them is going to get into school, college. If you have the game, you're going to shine. We just had a kid named, I don't know if you heard about him. His name is Sonny Styles. He's actually one of the top safeties in the country right now, and he's committed
Hmm.
to Ohio State. I think he reclassified, and he's going in this year. They just won the state championship out here in basketball, and
Right.
he's like 6'4", 240 pounds, and he plays safety. And I'm like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
That's a big dude.
and he's got range. Like he's
Hmm.
not one of those big lumbering safety. He's got range. I mean, like he can really pluck the ball to the sky. So, interesting to see that. So you know, one thing I want to say, you got invited to the Under Armour All American game.
Yes, sir.
Now, how did that feel?
You know,
That's amazing right there.
it's special. Like it's something that a moment that I could relive. Getting on that phone with DeWarren. Just talking to that guy. It was special, and it was literally like right after the game. I can't recall what game it was, but I remember we were literally watching college football. We were watching OU. OU was playing somebody, and we're outside, and the grill was hot. Coach Love was on the grill, and then I get a text from my dad, I think, and he's like, "Yo, has the Under Armour dude hit you up?" And I was like, "No, what do you mean?" And then he did not respond to me at all. And then the next thing I know, I get a text and it's like, "Yo, call me real quick." And then he just invites me to the game, and I'm just like, "Wow!" Like, it's something. It feels like one of my dreams. Being able to go to Orlando, Florida next year in January. That's going to be special, and I'm really just excited to be there. And then I got to go to the camp. See who was going to coach me. He brings like the energy, like it's crazy. He, of course, he's gonna talk. He talks ish and stuff like that. To the like offensive side, but his energy is amazing, and I just can't wait to be in pads. Hearing the pads clacking. Letting him coach me.
Yeah, man, that when I seen that, I was like, oh my gosh, you got to be excited as a player,
Right.
to get a goal, probably maybe when you're coming up, and you be able to. That's the best of the best, and you've seen a lot of pro players come out of that game. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just exciting to see what you're doing and what you're headed into. So, a couple of last questions. Number one, your team goals. Obviously, state, but what do you kind of individually? I know team goals. You want to win your district, you want to win your
Mm-hmm.
state. I understand that, so we
Right.
can never move away from that. But
Mm-hmm.
and this is not selfish. But what does Ryan Yaites want to accomplish his last year? You said what you want to work on, but what stat wise? How do you? What do you want to? What do your stats want to be? It's okay to even talk about how I want to how to look individually this year.
Right.
What do you want to look about individually this year?
So individually this year, I want 5 picks plus, like no, nothing more, nothing less. If I got sorry, Payne, but if I gotta go steal some of your picks, bro, I'm gonna come across it. I'm gonna run across that field and give you some picks. But definitely, nothing under 5 picks. And then I want, since I had, 10 more than double digits on PBUs, of course, that's a must. If you're a DB, if you have less than 10 PBUs, then you're not a DB. That's just
Right.
how I go by. And then really just gaining weight, of course. I want to get to 200 pounds, which is a quick and easy goal I can get during the summer. And
Mm-hmm.
then really, besides that, just prove, like, make my name for myself. Like, of course, I've already, like, done that, of course, with the offer, and of course, me be committed to LSU and the Armor. But I want to be one of those guys that, Coach Keese and Coach Jilson and Coach Willie, are talking about, like, a role model. So, like,
Right.
now this year,
Right.
they talk about, Marquand, which was our middle free safety, Marquand Pope. And they always, talk about, like, how he does drills and how he, like, prepared for games and how he prepared for film and how, of course, how he played. And I just want to be one of those guys on that list where they say, oh, well, Marquand and Ryan Yaites did this, this, and this. So when I'm gone, when I just come back, I can hear kids go, oh, you're Ryan Yaites? Oh, man, Keese and Jilson, they talk about you all the time. So, I definitely want to have my name, that guy or legacy, which I kind of think I already have. But I just want to solidify my name. Like, I want to be one of those top guys like Gerard Hurd and J.W. Walsh, Marquand Pope, Josh Stewart, all those guys.
Hey man, that sounds awesome because I feel you. That's something that you want to do, like when you come into school, and it ain't even about no ego. It's just about this is what you want to shoot for as a young player. This is
Right.
who you want to model yourself after. If you want to be great, this is what you want to do. And I feel you. You want to have your name in that upper echelon. You want to keep it there. You want to solidify and cement your legacy. And this is the
Right.
perfect time to do it to cement your legacy this year. And one thing I really got excited listening to is that you said, yes, I've already committed to LSU. Yes, people already know about me. I'm a 4-star recruit. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get to that 5-star. I'm already in the Under Armour game, but I don't want to rest on that. I want to be even better this year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What I this is what I've done so far. But when I leave out of my senior season, I want everybody to really know who this kid, he signed here, but let me tell you what he did his senior year. You know what I'm saying? That's when people
Right.
are like, okay, the buzz is crazy now because he went even better and harder his senior year. So really excited to hear about that, man. I'm getting ready to get you off of here, but I want to ask you before you go into a game, what kind of music you listen to? What kind of gets you right? What kind of pumps you up? What does Ryan kind of do in his off time? And what does he do to listen to get ready for games? And what does he kind of do for fun in his off time?
So usually when it comes to like listening to music, my playlist, it usually starts off, with like just, like chilling. Cause like my Koski says, it's a real, like, you don't want to be on a roller coaster. You just want to slowly,
Right.
like an airplane, slowly take off. So I usually start off with like slow Drake music, something that's, cool, mellow. And then when it's about game time, I'm listening to more like T Grizzly, First Day Out. I'm listening
Mm-hmm.
to NBA YoungBoy. That's kind of my two favorite rappers at the moment. So I'm definitely listening to those guys, and I'm listening to Lil
Right.
Durk and all that stuff, like hype music, to hype me up.
Right. Right.
But on my free time, I really like to. Well, one thing I like to do that not a lot of people know about, not even my dad, but I like to golf with my friends. That's like,
He knows now.
well, he knows now. It's a fun hobby that I like to do. I love to golf. I love to swim. Watching movies. That's one thing that I love doing. I'm kind of a dweeb as well. Watch like animes. Like right now, I'm watching One Piece. I finished Naruto. I used to watch. Like I watched like the younger Naruto, but I finished watching Shippuden. I watched all those episodes. I watched Attack on Titan. I watched Hunter x Hunter. So I do like really just like watching animes. I'd say more, not movies. I'm a kind of dweeb too. I love like the Harry Potter and like the wizard stuff, like Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, which is a movie I want to go see soon, and Batman. Those DC guys. I'm not really a big Marvel guy, just because I don't really like Captain America and like Thor, all them. Like that's really not my
Right.
thing. But
Right.
just movies, hanging out with my friends, golf, of course, and then just really just like hanging out with like my mom, like my girlfriend, like my family, stuff like that. Just stuff, outside that, takes my mind, away from football. Of course, when I'm at school and stuff, it's on, but there's a switch. Like there's sometimes it needs to be on when you're at school and you're at practice and all that stuff and you're lifting and all that. But there's sometimes that all athletes need to know that you just need to turn it off sometimes. Sometimes you just need to be a kid, because I'm still 16. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And when I get older, I won't have as much time as I have now. To
Right.
do those fun things that I can do now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's okay to be a dweeb, dog. I told my son to be a dweeb, bro. I said it's okay to be a good kid, get good grades, and stay out of trouble and stay out the way. He's
Right.
benefiting for it right now. He's out there in Virginia doing his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's benefiting from right now because guess what? It's okay to, stay out the way. It's okay to just chill and do normal things. That's what I really expect about a lot of the kids that I've already interviewed. They all just kind of chill, play maybe some video games here and there, watch some movies, but you know what? They're pretty much just focused. And just like you say, when it's time to turn it on, when the field and the work, it's time to turn it on. But hey, I like to have some fun time too, and it's good that you already understand the happy balance. So once again, man, shout out to family, really getting you right, bro. They've done a heck of a job. Just seeing you since you were younger, watching you playing all that little league football, it was just crazy. Now this is wild because I remember just looking at all them Facebook pictures and all them videos when you was turning up on the little league field, man. It was crazy. It's just wild to see, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy because I remember looking at it and I was just like, he gonna be nice because he just playing football like all the time. He gonna be nice. And now to see it materialize, you hate to say, well, I want to look at the pros right now, but when you see of how you've advanced from youth football to what you've done now, you got to think it's in your head. It's a definitely possibility. So why not strive for that goal and go get it? You know what I mean? Don't let yourself limit you to anything. Hey, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But you can never stop yourself from giving the full effort to try to do it. So I wish you 100%. The whole family can't wait to watch you on Saturdays, whatever day, and then hopefully we watching you on Sundays. That would just be awesome. If you came to my Cowboys, dog, bruh, let me tell you something. If Cowboys draft, dog, I don't even know it. The whole family the whole family would go crazy if the Cowboys drafted you, dog. So that's way down the line. But hey, people can dream. We can dream right now. You know what I'm saying? So really appreciate you coming on here, man. Shout out to you. I said before, what we're gonna do is we did the initial interview for the show, just a generation next, and then we're going to meet again in the mid-season, see how the season's going, and then at the end of the year, and we can talk about, well, you know what, I had these goals at the beginning of the year, we did this interview, and this is what the stats were, and this is how I did. And we're also going to make sure we get your tape out there Obviously, people know about you, but hey, it's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with a whole bunch of people knowing you. So what we're
Right.
going to do is after we were dropping all these videos starting next week, which it would be Monday, all the videos are going to start dropping, and we'll have
Mhm.
the tape with your videos, have a little, a little documentary type thing with it, and then we just want you to be great in the season, man. I really appreciate you taking out your time for here for Generation Next, and I wish you the best of the season and the best of luck to you. And let's try to get that championship this year. Is
All
there
right.
anyone
Thank
a
you,
shout
sir.
outs you want to give to anybody before you head off of here?
Really just shout out to, my Guyer, Wildcat family, those guys, I couldn't be, in this predicament without them. Shout out Coach Jilson, shout out Coach Flight, those are my trainers. Shout out Coach Willie, my safeties coach. Shout out Coach Keys, my strength and conditioning coach that's made me put on all this weight. And then my main people, shout out to the LSU guys, that staff, for believing in me and letting me commit to them. And then shout out to my dad and my mom and my stepmom. Without those three, I want to be, I want to have the personality one that I say I have today, but I want to also be as educated and, be able to do things like go on trips, go to Orlando, Florida, because I don't know if that's paid for or not, or go, to unofficial visits with stuff you have to pay for. And then, my driving 6 hours, 7 hours to LSU, stuff like that. So I definitely shout out to those guys, just being a part of this journey. And one day I hope to, make it up to them, which I hope that I'm doing right now, of course, by making it into college for free, but, just by being able to pay them back with, big gifts or NIL, stuff like that. But that's later down the road. But shout out to those guys.
Well, I'm gonna just tell you right now, man. Your parents, we're all proud of you. Like, it's ridiculous how proud of you we already are. You already have started the process. You've been started the process of been just a process of how good of a kid you've been in right now. So you've already had. If anything else, we're all just sitting there like, man, we already proud of anything else. Just stop from here. We all proud, just period. You feel what I'm saying?
I
So
feel you.
anything else is just icing on the cake, and it is going to happen. Things are going to continue to grow because number one, you have the right mind frame. You're a good kid, and you're selfless. And when those type of things that you are, you always want to gonna bless somebody else, and you're gonna bless the family. And us, you're blessing our family by making it into school and being a young example, showing you a whole different great thing. I can't really put it into words. Like I said, how excited I am, and I know your family, mom and dad. I know they're just like, because I know Ryan when he hit me up, he was like, "Hey, he committing today. He getting ready to commit. So I'm gonna send you. I'm a DM you and let you know." I'm like, "All right, well I'm watching." And then I tweeted it like, "I ain't saying nothing, but it's happening today." You know what I'm saying? It's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just we wish you the best, man. Go get it. We're going to get off of here. Just give me, and then we'll talk for like a couple, like 20 seconds, and I'll let you go. But really appreciate you, Ryan Yates, new safety now for Denton High School in Texas. We're looking to see what he's going to do in his senior year, and we're hoping he gets that state title. So for Big Game James, Mr. Ryan Yates and Generation Next, we'll talk to you soon on our next interview.
All
Peace.
right. See
We're
ya.
out.